If you've ever dreamed of living in a tiny home on 2 hectares of beautiful and private land in the Portuguese countryside, this could be the perfect property for you. Today I'm just outside the city of Castelo Branco in central Portugal on a very private 2-hectare off-grid property, surrounded by nature but only 10 minutes away from the city. The land includes a modern tiny home alongside a traditional granite stone building, multiple water sources, solar power, established agriculture, and no immediate visible neighbours. The tiny home is fully off-grid, powered by 10 kilowatts of modern solar power with extra large lithium batteries, along with gas heating, hot water and air conditioning, making it comfortable all year round. The original granite stone building features thick stone walls and a replaced tiled roof and offers clear potential for further development. Across the land you'll find a deep borehole with a high water yield, a traditional well, there's water mines, a seasonal stream, greenhouses, fruit trees, grapevines, and around 200 olive trees which are already in production. Now in terms of location, the property is only 10 minutes from the city of Castelo Branco. This has got full services, shops, schools, healthcare. Fundão is around 30 minutes away and also offers a wide selection of shops, services, and even transport links. Lisbon, the capital city, and its international airport is just over 2 hours away, and Porto and its international airport are just under 3 hours away. From the street we can see a really nice entrance to the property. We've also got a lovely little sign over here which says Quinta Orgânica do Rabadão, and just look at these beautiful oak trees. We have a little secluded parcel of some of the eucalyptus here, and the property extends around in that direction. And the road that I'm currently standing on runs all the way down to Castelo Branco. It's called the N112, and you're about 10 minutes away from the city. On the left hand side we have the boundary marker, and the boundary of the land extends down in this direction. I'll pop up a map on the screen so you can see where the entrance is and you can see the layout of the land. There's really good access. We have these 2 really huge gates that open up and basically take us along a gravel driveway underneath some incredibly beautiful cork oak trees. And just look at the views as you come in here. On the left hand side we can see a very clearly marked border, which is the old stone wall that runs all the way on the outside of the property. And everywhere that you can see that is all nice and green and all nice and cut all the way up to the trees in the back, all belongs to the property. It's also nice and shady at this time of day. It's around 1:30 in the afternoon, and the way that the sun falls, imagine in the summertime when it's really hot, we have lots of shade underneath these beautiful cork oak trees. If we carry on along this driveway, we can see there's plenty of spaces where one could park cars. There's even lovely flat areas here, just next to these really beautiful granite boulders. Just look at this on the side. But also really nice flat areas here where people could put extra things. I mean, imagine you could have like a yurt on a base or something like that over there. There's lots of potential for building things. And I just want to give you a look around from this section. This is the little tiny home, a little static home. It is actually on wheels. We're going to be having a look at that in a moment, and then we can start to see some of the 200 olive trees that are on the property. This is an area of central Portugal where it's just full of these really beautiful cork oak trees and lots of olive trees and lots of natural sort of species that grow here, like rock roses and things like that. So this whole area is being gravelled off really nicely, and there's actually a flat section just above here where they were going to be building a carport out of aluminium. We have some solar panels just down here. These are 8 600 watt panels. That's 4,800 watts of solar that's been installed really nicely on metal racks over here, feeding a really good solar system that we're going to look at in a bit. And this over here is a large shipping container. This could be turned into another tiny home. This is also perfect for storage. But I think for the purpose of today's video, we're going to start with the tiny home and then we're going to work our way around. So nice little place where you can park cars just up on the side here. And if we go down this little path, we've got some cork oaks, we've got some olive trees, and we've also got some fruit trees just on the side here. So this one over here is a kiwi. We've got some peach, which is just planted over there, and on the other side we have some apple, which is planted over there. Here's a little sneak peek. We can see a little bit of the old stone house. We've also got a little dipping pool. Now before we see those, let's have a look at the part where the current owners are living. Now this is a tiny home, a static home, and this is something that they're basically staying in while they were going to be renovating the stone house, and it's quite nice. It sits in an elevated position. They've built a lovely little sunshade, a little porch cover, a nice little deck. This is actually something that's on wheels, so this is a removable structure. The home is removable, so is this entire deck over here. Everything is removable, so it's not permanently fixed. It's very solid though, and all in all a really nice space. You can see lots of windows on the front. Just underneath here we've got a washing machine and tumble dryer. These are actually plumbed into a grey water system that basically comes out just underneath this little ferry over here. Now this front porch area is orientated roughly to the east, so you're going to get beautiful sunrises, but in the late afternoon you aren't going to have all that sun like pushing down in here, especially in the hot summers. On the front here we've got some steps that lead up onto this deck. As I said, this deck is removable. We've got 2 windows on the front, a nice little place for seating and having a cup of tea, which I was doing a little while ago. And let's go inside. Inside here we have insulated doors, and let's have a look. Once we cross into the threshold here, we are in the main section of the little tiny home. And look, we have air conditioning, which is definitely a must. We also have some gas heating. The air conditioners can also run heat. And then we have this little sofa section here. Now if you remove this table, the sofa section actually comes out and makes a nice big double bed. On the side here we have some storage, and we have space for a nice big television that looks like a 42-inch TV. Some more storage on the side. Let's start on this side over here. We have a double bed in quite a small bedroom, but I mean, it's got space for everything that you need. And we have a lovely little window that looks out towards the direction of the driveway. And over here we have some storage, so a big cupboard over there for your stuff. Over here, just next door to it, is the bathroom. And we have a shower just on this side over here, so a nice little walk-in shower. And then we also have the basin, and we have the vanity unit just up on the side. So if we look back at the front door, we can just see, look at these views. They're really nice. I mean, just stretching all over the land. It's really private. Also love this sunshade that they have here, which in summer is going to come in really handy. And if we just step back a bit, we can see the kitchen. So it's a nice compact kitchen, but it pretty much has everything you need. We got storage on the top, and below we got a 4-burner gas hob. So we're not using electricity for like the heavy lifting stuff, like heating water or cooking, which is a really good thing to do when you're running off battery power. And over here we have the sink, and we have the fridge. In here I believe we have the toilet. Got a window looking back in the direction of the other stone building, and then we have the toilet just on the side. And just next to the toilet we have this over here. Now this was a room with 2 singles in it, so at the moment it is storage, but there were 2 single beds, like one bed here, one bed over there. They've taken them out so that they can have storage. It's actually quite a nice room for storage. We can see we even have some more cupboards just on that side, and a window. And let me just spin you around in this direction. We can see the main sort of living area here. A nice comfortable little space. There's space to watch TV, space to eat, space to prepare food, and quite nice ceiling height. Nice, light and bright. And yeah, when you're washing the dishes, most importantly, you have some incredible views. Now this is a building that the owners intended to stay in while they renovate the stone building just on this side over here. Now if we step down from the porch, we've got a lovely little fire pit over here. Look at this, they got some olive wood. This stuff burns amazingly. This is from pruning of these old olive trees over here. So we got 200 olive trees. That alone is going to make lots of wood, but there are also other trees on the land that can be used for firewood. This over here where the Buddha statue is actually where the septic tank is. So they've put this here just so that people, don't drive anything heavy over it. But it's basically a soak away system. So all of the sewage goes into here and basically soaks away into the field and purifies it. So I think from here we go onto the stone building, and then we go onto the pool, and then we go onto the land. And over here, this is something else that's included. We have a greenfield tractor. So this is like a lawn tractor. I can't remember if it was 24 horsepower or 29, but it's very high horsepower. At the moment, it's got this over here. This is something that can be used to flatten the ground if you've got different things. You can also put little teeth in it to grade the ground with. So it does have a hitch. It also has a 34-inch cutting disc, so over 1 meter of cutting area with 2 blades at the bottom. So quite nice to have that. And let me just take you back here and just look at the size of this beautiful cork oak tree. I mean, this must be hundreds of years old to get like that. Let's go down in this direction. This is where we're going to see this beautiful old granite stone building. Now there's a new roof on here. The new roof was actually done before the new owners bought the place, and we can see along the sides here it's been really nicely pointed up. This is actually using a proper breathable mortar. So it's a type of mortar that's an eco mortar with like lime in it, and it's the proper stuff. They've done quite a nice job of that, as we see as we walk around. And let me just take you to this side of the building here. You can see it's a really good looking little building. It's 6 meters by 6 meters, so 36 square meters. So just behind it we have this metal shed, and inside we have lots of tools. Again, these tools are all included in the sale. We've got some really high quality stuff like the steel strimmers and things like that. There's steel chainsaws. There's pretty much everything you need here to look after a piece of land like this. Now you might be wondering why someone would put so much time, effort and money into this property and then suddenly sell it. The owners have basically told me that they need to go back home in order to look after their parents. So sadly they're going to have to leave all of this behind, but that also means that whoever buys this is going to benefit from everything that's been done so far on this really cool property. And that's what it looks like from the front. This is a really nice aspect of this building, and the pointing and everything, it's beautiful. We're actually standing on a big slab of granite, so this house is built on a big solid rock of granite. It's a really solid construction, big slabs going around the doorway, and there's no lighting inside here, so I'm going to have to take out a little LED light. Actually the camera seems to be doing a pretty good job. So again, we have really good quality tools. Look, there's a Honda 2200 watt generator. This is something that can be used to back up on very cloudy days. If you're using lots of electricity, you can plug this directly into the solar system and you can top up the batteries if needed. Also included is this. This is a very cool device. You basically use this when you're harvesting olives. You take the olives, you pour them into the top here, you adjust the flow rate through this little gap. As the olives and the leaves and the twigs and everything all fall through here, there's a fan just down here that basically blows all the leaves away and funnels all the olives down into here, and they fall into a crate. And this saves you a lot of time and effort when harvesting olives, especially when you have 200 trees. So just to the side here we have this big tank. This is a very large concrete vat. They usually use these for wine. Now at the moment it's being used for storage, but it's very deep, it's very big. Essentially what will happen is they will harvest the grapes. They'll put all of the grapes in here. They'll either use a macerator to chop all the grapes up, or people will hop in here and they'll stand all over the grapes, mash them up, and this will be the first stage of creating wine. And then after that there's the drain just at the bottom here, where they'll drain all of the wine out, and then they'll put that into vats. And as we can see over here, we actually do have a couple of vats. They haven't used the big tank for these, but they have, like over here, I believe this is 80 liters. And they say that they get about 80 liters of wine off here. On this side over here, these are some olives, and these have basically been made from the land now, so they've just got a little while to go. They're busy being brined, so you can make your own olives and all sorts of stuff here. Own olive oil, own wine. So standing in the far corner over here, we can see the other side of the tank. We can also see the solar system. This is the inverter, and this over here is 5 kilowatts. So you can run 5 kilowatts worth of appliances on here. This is basically ported to the house, or to the tiny home. And then this over here is 10 kilowatt hours of solar batteries. So we've got two 5 kilowatt hour batteries, plenty of storage here. You can run 10 kilowatts for 1 hour with this, which is a huge amount of power. And so yeah, so this is something that could be renovated into another tiny home. The owner was telling me that he has everything that you need here to build a house, and it's all very high quality stuff, as you can see by the branding on here. Steel chainsaws, all really nice equipment. So this could be an amazing project for someone, and while they're doing it, they'll be able to stay very comfortably in a heated and air conditioned little tiny home. And in the background here, check this out. They've made a beautiful plunge pool. This is an old water tank, and you'll find these a lot on these rural properties in Portugal. What they'll do is they'll build these on a high point on the land. They'll use water from the well, which is actually just in the background here. They'll pump it into the tank, and they'll let gravity drip feed things like vegetable gardens and stuff. Now this one has been done with a proper pool pump and everything like that, so it's got a proper filter going through here. The water's nice and clean. And let's go around this side. We can see we've got some steps going up. Really nicely done. Now it's not particularly deep, but it's going to be the perfect little plunge pool for the summertime. And if we look on this side over here, we have like the little pump house. If we open it up, we can see we've got a nice little pool pump system over here. This is from the borehole. So there's a borehole that's over 80 meters deep. It's going through this nylon filter over here. Apparently it's exceptional water. It's actual spring water that they've got. It runs at 7,000 liters an hour, so lots and lots of water. This is the pressure balloon that's connected to the borehole, and what that does, it keeps the water under pressure. So as soon as you open up a tap, you get instant water pressure and you don't have to wait for the pump to start. So over here we have all electrics and everything. This is basically coming directly from the house, from the solar system. And this also goes underground all the way back to the tiny home. So if you look ahead, we've got a whole bunch more stuff to see. I just want to show you on the left here. This is like the main sort of first olive grove section that is just in front of the house, and it's really beautiful. We can see the defined borders are pretty much where the tree line is over there, and all of the nice cut grass areas. This is, you know, all part of the 2 hectares of land. If we go down here, there's about 5 terraces on the land. We can see these lovely granite stones that demark the different terraces. We've got this over here, which is like a little waterway. Now, if there's ever any heavy rains or anything like that that's coming down off the land here, it's going to funnel itself nice and neatly through here, and it's not going to interrupt with any of the houses or structures and things. Just on the side here is a fire pit. This is what they use for when they're doing pruning and stuff like that. It's actually a really nice idea. And I think next we're going to walk our way down there, and oh, that's a nice angle. Look at that, a tiny home. And actually from up here, just look how you've got this beautiful view that looks down and over the fields. Now if we go down here, we've got some lovely granite stones that take us over this little waterway, and then just in front we have an absolutely enormous well. Look at this. The owner reckons this is about 6 meters across and 8 meters deep. Absolutely huge. Look at these big granite stones. And let me just show you inside. Now on the top here, you probably already know this, but this isn't algae. This is a type of duckweed. And it's quite good to have this in your well because it stops the sun from getting in the water, and it stops the sun from growing algae in the water. Now there's lots of little frogs in here, and this is a very healthy water system. There is actually a pump and a little pump house that's on that side over there. And then we got these 2 big concrete sort of beams going across here, and what they would have had on here is they would have had like a water wheel. That water wheel would have buckets on it that go into the water and bring the water up, and that water wheel would have been powered by a donkey. So it's something called a Nora, where they would have a donkey that walks around in a circle attached to a pole that basically turns a water wheel and brings the water up, and that water would have gone from here and they would have pumped it up to the tank in the old days. So yeah, a really big strong borehole, and then a massive well that doesn't run out of water even right throughout the summer. And this is also quite interesting. This is on the one side orange tree, on the other side a clementine, so it's kind of a split tree, and they've got some absolutely huge oranges on here. I think, let's see this, look at this, massive. So this borehole, this is basically used for the house and the swimming pool, but there's also this, a little pump house that has one of these pumps from a brand called Einhell, and it has its own little pressure balloon on, and this is basically pumping directly out of this well and takes you down to where the greenhouses are and where the chickens and things like that are. And I think that's exactly where we should go next. So they've built this over here, which is a really large chicken house. I can't remember the exact square meters of it, but it's been really well done. So they've dug down into the ground. They've put all sorts of stuff down there so that the foxes can't get under. And they've also built this little overhang here so the foxes can't jump up and get inside here. So we've got some very lucky chickens that are living in here. They're nice and secure. And then if you notice, we've got this piping that goes along here. And we have these little taps over here. And basically what you can do is you can turn on the pump, and you can, in the middle of summer when it's really hot, you can open this up. There's spray bars going all the way along the outside that sprays and mists and basically keeps this area nice and moist. It's also going to help keep stuff growing in there. They've done a really good job with this chicken house. Let's go in and have a look. I just need to try and get in here without the chickens escaping. So these are still quite new chickens. Apparently they've only just started laying eggs. So these are going to be laying some really good quality eggs for many years to come. And they've got their own little olive tree in here. Look at that. Really nice. They've also built them this little area over here, so it's a nice little shady spot in the summer, or it's also a spot that'll keep them out of the rain if they want to be outside when it's rainy. And then they've got a proper little chicken house here. This has got one of these roofs. It's an insulated roof, like a sandwich panel roof. And then we open this up. We have this door with an automated opener, so it opens and closes automatically, so you don't have to come down here. Look at the chickens, are all very interested in this. And then look inside here, they've got a lovely little space for nesting and roosting. Lovely little nest boxes. As I said before, insulated roof. And then this panel over here, in the summertime, you can open this up and get lots of airflow going through. So those are some very lucky little hens. So just next to the chickens, we've got some greenhouses, and if we just go through this little gate, you can see they've done it really nicely. We've got two of these big tunnels over here, and inside they've made some really nice little above ground beds using pallets. They've been really neatly done. They look like they've got some exceptional soil inside. They are making compost and stuff here, and we've got the remnants of what they were growing. Like, we've got some tomatoes lying in there. They've even been putting things like eggshells in there, which is quite nice. But yeah, imagine how much stuff you can grow in here. This is going to be plenty of growing space. And then we also have all the way along the sides here, I don't know if you can see the black piping, and we have spray bars. And this is basically going right through these greenhouses. And similar to how the chickens can get cooled down in the summer, you can actually turn these on and you can basically spray and water all of your veggies. Apparently it only takes about 5 minutes because it's quite strong. There's lots of water that's going all over the place and completely misting and cooling this down in the summertime. And if we walk a little bit further, we can see we've got another greenhouse there. We actually even have space here. You could potentially put another one here if you wanted to. And this also very similar, where we've got these above ground beds, really high quality compost and soil inside. And you can see they do have stuff growing. We are in the middle of winter, so it's quite difficult to grow stuff now. But yeah, it looks really healthy. Also full spray bars. So quite a nice little setup so far. We've got a place to stay that's going to be comfortable all year round. We've got a little project home that could be built into something amazing. And then we've got space for keeping little animals like chickens. We also have all of these fields around us here that you'll see in a moment are going to be perfect for things like sheep or goats. Potentially if you want to keep a horse or some donkeys, this is going to be a lovely bit of land for it. Just along from the last greenhouse, we've got more irrigation, as we can see, that goes out here, and it's actually watering all these different trees. This one over here is a ginger tree. I believe it's a ginger tree. And in the background, I'm not sure, it's difficult at this time of year to tell exactly what all these different trees are, but there's lots of different fruit trees. This one over here is a citrus. And just to the back here, we have a place for composting. And it's a nice open space for composting, so it's going to be easy to till this and basically make yourself your own fresh soil. And then in the background here, we've got a big area. This is like a big area of vines, so a main sort of vineyard area, also scattered around with some of the olive trees. And then from here, let me just show you back in the direction of the houses, and we can see the beautiful green fields. On all of the terraces here, we have vines growing as well. So as I said earlier, there's around 5 terraces on the land, and I think I'm going to walk along the edge here. I'll show you on a map exactly where we are right now. So we're at quite a high point in the land here, and we've got beautiful pine trees, lots of beautiful cork oak trees. If we look to the left over here, this isn't actually the border. The border is a couple of meters back behind it, where we have a very defined stone wall. And from up here we have beautiful views back to the stone house over there, the tiny home over there. We can see the greenhouses. There's something else I want to point out, is just over here is where the telephone pole ends. This telephone pole has fiber optic broadband, so it's all ready to go. All you need to do is extend that to your router. They can install fiber optic broadband. It actually arrives here right at the property. And just behind that over there, we have an electricity pylon, which is off the land, but very close. So if you wanted to, you don't have to just use solar, you can actually also connect to the grid. So it's quite nice to have those sort of modern amenities here. You are off-grid, you are self-sufficient, you can grow your own veggies, you've got tons of your own water, you can produce your own electricity, but you can also connect back to the grid if you want to. And you can also hop in your car and be in Castelo Branco in 10 minutes and go shopping and do all of that stuff. I love the look of this upper terrace. Look at all this shade here. It's around 2 o'clock right now, and in the afternoon, especially in summer, imagine you're going to have all this beautiful shade up here. A lovely place to put a little caravan or a little yurt or a little tent or a little motorhome or something like that. All of these terraces are quite accessible, as you can see, and we're actually looking now above all of the terraces here where all the olive trees are. So we'll go down into this valley in a bit, but for now I just wanted to start on this outskirts area here. And here we're walking down and into where a lot more olive trees are. And yeah, you can see they're nice size. These are definitely going to produce lots and lots of olives. If we stick on the border now, we've got this section over here with some beautiful granite rocks. And I'll just pop up on a map right now so you can see exactly where those rocks are located. Just look at the size of this boulder. So beautiful. I love granite rocks. And just on the side over here, we've got the boundary line, so we can see a very defined boundary line of old granite stones. This goes down in that direction. For ease of walking, I'm gonna cut across and go down this way. There is a creek, a little stream that runs on the side here, and we're going to go and have a look at that in a second. I just want to show you how the property extends around the corner here. Really nice, and it's, I would say, the lowest point of the land next to the creek. Lots of olive trees. This over here is a big old citrus tree over here. And just in front we can see one of the neighboring houses, and as we can see, it's quite far away. There is, I believe, another neighboring house back in that direction where the tiny home is, but it's not something that I've actually seen from the land as of yet. This basically takes us up to the border where the stream is, and this is a seasonal stream, so it's not going to be running all year round, but about 6 months of the year. And just look at this, absolutely beautiful. So nice and peaceful. Really nice. And listen to those birds. And if we spin around, this is what the view of the land looks like. So really nice and private, you know, you aren't being overlooked or anything like that. There's lots of little terraces and secret spots where you can go, and it's got a really nice feeling about it. The cork oak trees aren't just good looking, they also have a very valuable bark. And we can see, like this one over here, is pretty much ready to go, probably next year. People will come here, they will debark it for you, and they will pay you money for it. Now there's a lot of cork oak trees on the property. I'm not sure, it does change every year what they pay for cork oak, so I believe it's only done every 10 years. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe it's every 10 years. They cut the bark, they weigh it, and you get paid. Now we're looking back in the direction of the greenhouses and the stone barn, and we can see we're on the lowest terrace here, and we've got this wall going across the outside. And I've been told that there's 2 water mines on the property, and I believe they're in these rocks here. So I'm going to pop up a map on the screen and show you exactly where we're standing right now in relation to this wall. Now this over here, I don't believe this is a water mine. It looks like it could be, but I can see some light going through the other side. So I think this is just like a little canal system for bringing water from the above ground down. And I'm assuming that the other water mine is down in this direction. As I can see, there's a lot of greenery. Look at these beautiful stone walls, and look at these lovely big old granite boulders. Absolutely incredible. Let's, yeah, I think that's it there. There we go. Look at this. This is the water mine. This is what I wanted to show you guys. So, unfortunately my shadow's in the way of all of the sunlight here, but inside here, this has all been dammed off. This is basically fresh spring water that's coming out of the rock from far back there. So they've dug this big sort of mine into the wall here, and all of this water comes out, and they've got this little dam wall in front, and some of the water is trickling out, and it's all running through this field over here. So you're going to have water down here in this field. It's probably going to stay a little bit green around here during the summer, but you'll probably find that this water mine in the summertime is obviously not going to be running as much. And then I've been told there's another one just behind it over there. So that's a lot of water on the property. 2 water mines, a borehole, a really powerful borehole, and then that massive well, you know, plenty of water. And now I'll show you on a map where we are. We're in the sort of corner of the land up at the top here. We've got the beginning of the creek just over here. And I'm just going to climb up to it quickly so you can get a better look of what it looks like. Oh, that is awesome. Now again, this only runs about 6 months of the year. So in the winter this is running, in the spring it's running, but then in the summer and autumn this dries out. But just look how this is all coming out here, and this stretches across. We've got the N112, so the main sort of road here, and then this stretches along the border of the property and back down in that direction. And as we walk up from where that creek is, we can see we've got another terrace just here. The old water mine was just down there. We're up on this next terrace. Let's go and have a look at that second water mine. Water is a very precious commodity. It's always nice to see a piece of land that has lots and lots of it. Wow, okay. So, wow, okay, yeah, so you can see this is like really deep. So this is kind of the source of the water mine. And you can see all the way down to the bottom, and it's coming out of the rocks here and then going all the way through here and back and out the front of that entrance over there. And if we walk up one more terrace from where the water mine was over there, we have another beautiful terrace just up here full of trees. And then just above that we have another terrace. And on this terrace we have the whole solar panel system, we have the container, we have all of this flat parking area and access to the two different houses. So it's an interesting property for sure. Someone's put a lot of time, effort, energy and money into getting it to this stage. Unfortunately, they weren't able to finish this project. Unfortunately, they have to go back home to look after their parents. And this amazing little project could be something that you could take on. So if you can picture yourself living in this beautiful little tiny home on a 2-hectare farm in central Portugal, growing your own food and renovating a beautiful old stone building, then have a look in the video description below. I'm going to put all of the seller's contact details. You can contact them directly with any questions or queries, or if you want to set up a visit. Well, I've really enjoyed walking around this beautiful property, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you again soon for another one of my property tour videos. If you want to catch more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. All the best. Ciao.